1 Kings 20. Now King Ben-Hadad of Syria assembled all his army along with 32 other kings with their horses and chariots. He marched against Samaria and besieged and attacked it. Now, if you remember, we had in the last passage, or a couple of chapters, we had Elijah. It was anointing a new prophet to take his place, Elisha. He was going to go and anoint Ben-Hadad, king of Syria. He was doing a couple of different things to anoint new people. So now we have Ben-Hadad taking action because he was told Ben-Hadad is going to take care of King Ahab. But 32 other kings, that's interesting. Why 32? That's a number that doesn't show up often, so probably nothing symbolic in it, but it still seemed like a lot of other kings. And so we need to think of not as nation states, but as city states. So they would probably be 32 cities who are going to be joining him to go to battle. Hey, Onesimus, welcome in. He sent messengers to King Ahab of Israel, who was in the city. He said to them, This is what Ben-Hadad says. Your silver and your gold are mine, as well as the best of your wives and your sons. The king of Israel replied, It is just as you say, my master, O king. I and all I'll own belong to you. So interesting. Ahab is just like, yep, I'll go along with it. I will go along with it. The messengers came back again and said, This is what Ben-Hadad says. I sent this message to you. You must give me your silver and gold, wives and your sons. But now at this time tomorrow I will send my servants to you, and they will search through your palace and your servants' houses. They will carry away your valuables. The king of Israel summoned all the leaders of the land and said, Notice how this man is looking for trouble. Indeed, he demands my wives, sons, silver, and gold, and I did not resist him. All the leaders of the people said to him, Do not give in or agree to his demands. So he said to the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Say this to my master the king. I will give you everything you demand at first from your servant, but I am unable to agree to this latest demand. So the messenger went back and gave their report. Ben-Hadad sent another messenger to him. May the gods judge me severely if there is enough dirt left in Samaria for all my soldiers to scoop up in their hands. Okay, where's the rest of that? Where's the rest of that? May the gods judge severely if there's enough dirt left in Samaria for my soldiers to scoop up in their hands. I'm assuming he's going to bury you. He's going to bury you. We see if they have anything. But we have that phrase, may the gods judge me severely, which is a phrase that is used by Jezebel previously. Now it's used by Ben-Hadad. The dirt in Samaria suffices for the handfuls of all the people who are at my feet. Yeah, I'm not quite getting what he's saying there. The handfuls of people who are at my feet to bury them? Is that what the dirt scoop up in your hands? I don't get what you're saying, Ben-Hadad. Don't know what it is. The king replied, Tell him, the one who puts on his battle gear should not boast like one who has taken it off. When Ben-Hadad received this reply, he and the other kings were drinking in their quarters. He ordered his servants, Get ready to attack. So they got ready to attack the city. So clearly taunting, going back and forth now. Now a prophet visited King Ahab of Israel and said, This is what the Lord has said. Do you see this huge army? Look, I am going to hand it over to you this very day. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Ahab asked, By whom will this be accomplished? He answered, This is what the Lord has said. By the servants of the district governors. Ahab asked, Who will launch the attack? He answered, You will. So interesting thing here. We have a prophet, and it doesn't tell us who the prophet is. So we know that we have Elijah is a prophet. We know we have Obadiah is a prophet. But remember, we had Elijah feeling like he was the only one that was serving God, that there was nobody left. Well, here we have another prophet comes to King Ahab. We don't know who the prophet is, but engages King Ahab, says, You're going to have victory over your enemy here. So Ahab marched with 232 servants of the district governors. After that, he assembled all the Israelite army, numbering 7,000. 7,000 being the number of totality, and 1,000 being a large number. They marched out at noon while Ben-Hadad and his 32 kings allied with him were drinking heavily in their quarters. So they're over there, they're drinking, they're assembled, they're harassing every neighboring country, they're sending messages, they get replies back, but then they say, ready for war, but they're still drinking. The servants of the district governors led the march. When Ben-Hadad sent messengers, they reported back to him, men are marching out of Samaria. He ordered, whether they come in peace or to do battle, take them alive. So Ben-Hadad says, take them all alive. They marched out of the city with the servants of the district governors in the lead and the army behind them. Each one struck down an enemy soldier. The Syrians fled and Israel chased them. King Ben-Hadad of Syria escaped on horseback with some horsemen. Then the king of Israel marched out and struck down the horses and chariots. He thoroughly defeated Syria. Okay, I'm just going to pause here. So I was wrong. It was not Ben-Hadad who was being anointed. It is, let's go back and look at that. It is, where was it? Hazael is going to be king of Syria. So Hazael. So Ben-Hadad is coming and going to be defeated by Ahab, and then probably Hazael will be the one who defeats Ahab. Sometimes I forget what the last one was because these names are not that common. We don't go over them that often. So now we have Ben-Hadad is defeated. The prophet had visited the king of Israel and instructed him, go fortify your defenses, determine what you must do, for in the spring the king of Syria will attack you. So he's just defeated Ben-Hadad, and he's told, fortify the city. Now the advisors of the king of Syria said to him, their God is a God of the mountains. That's why they overpowered us. But if, if we fight on the plains, we will certainly overpower them. So do this, dismiss the kings from their command and replace them with military commanders. Muster an army like the one you lost with the same number of horses and chariots. Then we will fight them in the plains. We will certainly overpower them. He approved their plan and did as they advised. In the spring, Ben-Hadad mustered the Syrian army and marched to Aphek to fight Israel. When Israel had mustered and received their supplies, they marched out to face them in battle. When the Israelites deployed opposite them, they were like two small flocks of goats, but the Syrians filled the land. So Israel's like two little flocks of goats. The Syrians are everywhere. The prophet visited the king of Israel and said, okay, what do we have here in the prophet, the man of God? Okay. So again, we don't know who this is. This is what the Lord has said, because the Syrians said, the Lord is a God of the mountains and not a God of the valleys. I will deliver them, this huge army, into your control. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So notice that God is now saying to Ahab, I am the Lord. I'm going to give you victories. That's how you know I am the Lord. So in other words, I'm the Lord. I am more powerful than your enemies. The armies were deployed opposite each other for 7 days. On the seventh day, the battle began, and the Israelites killed 100,000 Syrian foot soldiers in one day. So one of the interesting things, on the seventh day, they waited opposite each other for 7 days. There is a reference back to creation there. And God on the seventh day, I know that we have the image of God rested and he didn't work on the seventh day. But the idea of rest there is that God is enthroned and he is the one in power on the seventh day. So you are to enter his rest. His kingdom is established. That's the idea there, or one of the ideas there of the seventh day. So here, having the battle commence on the seventh day is a tip of the cap to God, who is the one who is overseeing, who is the king, who is in power, and who is enthroned. So obviously he will win. The remaining 27,000 ran to Aphek and went into the city, but the wall fell on them. Now Ben-Hadad ran into the city and hid in the inner room. His advisor said to him, "Look, we have heard that the kings of the Israelite dynasty are kind. Allow us to put sackcloth around our waists and ropes on our heads and surrender the king of Israel. Maybe he will spare our lives." So the advisors are trying to find a way to have their lives spared. So they put on sackcloth around their waist and ropes on their heads and went to the king of Israel. I'm not sure what it means, ropes on their heads. Let's look at what the footnote says. Sackcloth is wear as a sorrow and repentance. The precise significance of the ropes on their head is uncertain, but it probably was a sign of submission. These actions were comparable to raising the white flag on the battlefield or throwing in the towel of a boxing match. Okay. So they put on the sackcloth, the waist ropes around their head, and they went to King of Israel. They said, "Your servant Ben-Hadad says, 'Please let us live.'" Ahab replied, "Is he still alive? He is my brother." The men took this as a good omen and quickly accepted his offer, saying, "Ben-Hadad is your brother." Ahab then said, "Go, get him." So Ben-Hadad came out to him, and Ahab pulled him up into his chariot. Ben-Hadad said, "I will return to the cities my father took from your father. You may set up markets in Damascus, just as my father did in Samaria." Ahab then said, "I want to make a treaty with you before I dismiss you." So he made a treaty with him and then dismissed him. So is this a good or a bad thing? Don't know. We have a prophet of God who is telling Ahab he's going to deliver his enemies over to him. He's going to deliver the enemies over to him. Here's what is going to happen. So I'm wondering if this is a bad thing to spare him. The enemy was supposed to be handed over to you. Why are you sparing this enemy? Faith Forge Gaming, welcome. Good morning. One of the members of the prophetic guild told his companions a message from the Lord. "Please wound me." But the man refused to wound him. So the prophet said to him, "Because you have disobeyed the Lord, as soon as you leave me, a lion will kill you." When he left him, a lion attacked him. Okay, so this is one of these, like a weird story. Like, I love these weird stories like this in the Bible. So we've got the prophetic guild, and one of them has a message, and he tells his fellow prophet, "Hey, you need to wound me." He's like, "I'm not going to wound you." And then it says, no, seriously, man, God said, I need to do this, so you need to do this for me. He doesn't make a plea there. He just goes straight up, "Because you have disobeyed the Lord, as soon as you leave me, a lion will kill you." Like, what? Like, we had a story not too long ago with the prophet being told to go give a message and come back from Ahab, and to talk to no one or to not stay anywhere and to not eat anything. And he goes and he eats with another prophet, and he ends up being attacked by a lion and killed. And then his donkey's just standing there. So we just had that one a few chapters ago. Now we have another one. "You're supposed to wound me. You won't wound me." Now it says he refused to. So maybe there's some persuasion going on, and he just, no matter what, we just shorten the story. But anyway, it's super weird. He found another man and said, "Wound me." So the man wounded him severely. The prophet then went and stood by the road waiting for the king. He also disguised himself by putting bandages over his eyes. When the king passed by, he called out to the king, "Your servant went out in the heat of battle, and then a man turned aside and brought me a prisoner. He told me, 'Guard this prisoner. If if he ends up missing for any reason, you will pay with your life or with a talent of silver.' Well, it just so happened that while your servant was doing this and that, he disappeared." The king of Israel said to him, "Your punishment is already determined by your own testimony." The prophet quickly removed the bandages from his eyes, and the king of Israel recognized he was one of the prophets. The prophet then said to him, "This is what the Lord says, because you released a man I had determined should die, you will pay with your life, and your people will suffer instead of his people." The king of Israel went home to Samaria, bitter and angry. So yes, I did. I was right there in the suspecting that making this treaty was indeed a horrible idea. The message had come that he was going to be turned over, and he spared him in the end and made a treaty with him. He didn't take him prisoner. He let him go. And it's like, I determine that he should die, and you let him go. So the prophet was doing drama theater to show the king what he had done. We do have this numerous times that prophets do these living dramas to show you what things are. So the prophet there representing the king, letting someone go, and now the message is, you're gonna die! You're gonna die!